All right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast, NBA podcast. My name is Keith, here once again with my buddies through the miracle of computer phone, here with Chuck Anderson.
And now.
And with John Burr.
Bing bong.
Boys, this feels like one of the easiest. Is this one of the easiest shows of the year?
Yes.
Because we've gone through these off seasons. I still remember the pandemic shutdown when we were like, are we supposed to podcast? I don't want to talk about anything. Now we've made a way through the desert, through the worm infested spice deserts of the off season. Now there's just thousands of things to talk about. This should be an easy show, right? No obstacles?
None. No personal obstacles. Everything's going well in all of our lives.
Yeah, nothing behind the scenes that Chuck wants to share with the listening audience.
I got dumped today. I got dumped. Who gets dumped at 37? Worst part. I had a trip planned, booked to San Francisco.
Best part, man. Saved you money.
Oh, we'll see.
That's rough. Is it because you took her to that Grizzlies event at the Sounds game?
Probably.
You can take me to San Francisco.
I think it's because she wants to have sex with other people. But
that's the one.
Always
that's always.
I didn't know. I actually, Chuck, never knew that was a deal breaker for you.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not there.
Yeah. She didn't want you to be there. That's never mind. I'm sorry. That is offensive.
Chuck's in like the third act of like an Apatow thing.
Yeah.
Where he's done like the right thing.
No, he's already. I thought this is terrible. I thought he was already in like the epilogue of the Apatow thing because he has this 40-hour-a-week job now. I thought he was in the final stage.
It's forthcoming. It's the Apatow. Yeah, usually you would think, just getting a normal job. That's an Apatow verse. That's it. You did it. You're a perfect drone.
Right.
But I think Chuck's in the thing where now it's like, the Miracle Woman's coming, Chuck. The Miracle Woman's coming. The Candace Parker saunters into the watch party this October 30th.
I might start dating guys.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Just try it out. No, I like that, John.
Our Q rating will go through the roof.
He's in the moment where then, it felt like the Apatow resolution, but then there was another twist. The lady leaves him. Then he finds out he doesn't need this job. He has to go find something more fulfilling. Right. And then
that's my path. That's what I'm doing. Path. That's what I'm going to school for. I'm going to keep this poopy job because it pays the bills. And I just moved into a much more expensive apartment. But I got this, man. Life goes on.
This is good. This is the through narrative season 8 of Fast Break Breakfast needs.
Mm-hmm.
We never know what the through narrative is going to be. Last year, it was plumbers who did a bad job, and then I found out they were in a cult, and then
what an ending.
And then the leaders of their cult died in a plane crash, and then HBO Max released a documentary about them,
which was great. That one, Chuck.
That was season 7. So season 8, let's step it up, Chuck. That's the bar to clear.
We'll see.
We'll see. I guess we should do breakfasts. I feel I'm good. I guess, Chuck, I've heard what you've said.
Thank you.
But now I'm also going to keep doing the show. I don't know if that's
feel
appropriate.
Heard. I feel heard. Thank you, Keith.
Okay. Do you want to talk about your breakfast? Did you have a good breakfast on this great day?
So I kind of felt like this breakup was coming. So the other day I ordered a meal plan. Shout out power listener, Rod Yuri. He put me on to Music City Fit Meals. And I had
a sponsor? Do I have to bleep that out? I don't
sponsor me.
Okay. They're sponsoring you.
But I had turkey bacon for breakfast, egg whites, and sweet potatoes.
Oh, lovely.
Came in a prepackaged little deal.
Is that a K-Rat? Did you just eat military grade food?
I throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes. I pull it out. I got a nice little breakfast. And I don't
2 minutes.
Are you eating hardtack?
Yeah, that's great.
What wattage microwave do you have? 2 minutes would kill anything.
You gotta take the power down.
It's a lot of time. My wattage.
You're telling me, John? I didn't even know. I just thought default power was the right one.
You can adjust wattage.
Okay. I just hit the popcorn button.
Mine just has a button that goes for a minute. If you hit it twice, whatever you had will melt. Yeah. It'll like the plate. It's like you can't touch the plate.
I can't believe the buttons, like the labels on mine, because it's like popcorn, steak, avocado. It's like, what are these buttons?
Lobster.
Like, yeah, defrost, de-thaw, yeah, steam.
Get a devein button.
Mm-hmm.
Who hits these buttons? I want to know.
Masterminds, microwave masterminds.
That's incredible. John, what was your breakfast?
Secret Pop-Tarts in my car after dropping
Which
off my
ones?
daughter.
Secret Pop-Tart. We've heard of those before.
I only do one kind of Pop-Tart.
Yeah. Is it
Brown sugar.
the brown sugar? No frosting?
Oh, Mick Jagger. Oh, frosting.
Frosting.
Yeah, frosting.
Have you taken the advice of our buddy Caitlin Cooper and done the melted butter on top of the frosted brown sugar?
I thought the frosted one?
She swears by on the brown sugar one. I'm pretty sure the frosted one. She doubles down.
I have done as a Ute. I have done butter on Pop-Tarts, and it's good, but it's like decadent. Like this feels wrong. Good.
Are you microwaving those Pop-Tarts, then taking them to your cars to eat?
I also can't
secret
get the Pop-Tart inside the house.
Oh, yeah.
Although today she knew I had done something.
Yeah.
I got back and she's like, where are you going between dropping off our child and coming home? And I'm like, I have this down to a science. Like I am in and out. I don't wait in line. Like the people at my quick stop know me. I don't wait in line. I give them $20 at the beginning of the week and I just buy stuff. Because the line is insane. There's women getting their eyebrows threaded and people buying lottery tickets. And like, I just talk to them because I've been going there for years. I'm like, I cannot wait in this line. Like it's ruining my life.
So are you tipping them $20 to say I'm going to cut in line? Or are you like,
I don't
placing
spend
a down payment?
Yeah, I do not spend $20 a week in there. I probably spend about $11 a week. And I'm like, here's $20. I don't ever want to wait in line ever again.
I love John's
kind of awesome.
Yeah, Lloyd, he has a Norm from Cheers tab at a bodega.
I'm worried you're going to get murdered by another customer who doesn't understand your arrangement.
There have been some
like you have a fast pass to this quick stop and they don't know that.
One of the sons thought I was stealing once. He was a son who was not in on the thing. And I was like, ask your mom, ask your mom, ask your mom. That was it. As I backed out, like, because my fight or flight is like very strange. It's like to heighten and escalate. So I just start screaming.
My breakfast, I had Galactic Lucky Charms.
Whoa.
They've gone and done it. They've added different marshmallows.
Whoa.
This is the thing. I'm asking my kids, hey, what do we need at the store? What do we need at the store? Tell me what we need at the store. I'm like, what cereal should we get? And my son's like, I want Galactic Lucky Charms. And I'm like, listen, kid, we have enough sugar cereals. I'm not getting another sugar cereal. Then I'm on this cereal aisle. I see Galactic Lucky Charms. It looks awesome. And I'm like, you know what? Well done, son. I'm bringing that one home. And it's pretty great. So I had, I've been doing dry handfuls. I like cereal milk. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be controversial. Lucky Charms cereal milk, I don't think it adds anything. It might honestly detract a little bit.
I'm just still trying to figure out what galactic means with regards to food.
They have added a bunch of space shapes.
Okay.
It's no longer just a horseshoe,
shouldn't that be
just a clover, just a rainbow. Honestly, John, it could be intergalactic Lucky Charms.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Well, galactic would be our galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Intergalactic, that would be going through numerous galaxies.
So this is like
intragalactic,
Neptune and Uranus and the like, as opposed to like, I don't know, Alpha Centauri. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Arrakis? It's not Arrakis.
Are the Lucky Charms shaped like members of the Beastie Boys? Is my question.
Or a jam band. I think it was a jam band called Galactic, maybe.
I mainly know the Beastie Boys from the Apple TV original documentary, The Beastie Boys, and not the actual successful music group, The Beastie Boys. Like I don't know their songs that well. But I watched their documentary and I was like, oh, seems like a fun band. I bet people love them.
Fun.
Yeah. Paul's Boutique, great record.
I remember being a child.
I'm a white guy.
And being out of my mind for you got to fight for your right to party. Like as a 7-year-old being like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And then it was really interesting finding out all the stuff behind it in this documentary. Like this is not who they were. This was not like what the music was loud.
There's a little bit of myth making there though, Keith.
Oh no,
they They still
Listen,
ran trains on those groupies. So
if I don't
kinda who they
know,
were.
if I don't know anything about your band, I will accept whatever myth making you present to
Okay,
me
yeah.
in your documentary. I
I
feel like
work-
that's part of the deal. And I'm comfortable.
I
with
work in the myth making business, and it's pretty wild what you can pass forth as your story.
Speaking of the documentaries, going back to my cult plumbers, I really wish HBO Max had done like a version for people that were already familiar with church in the South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it was like, you'll never get this. And you're like, yeah, I get it. I went to church.
No.
Like, that's what church is like. Tell me the weird stuff. This is the stuff we all know. If you live in Tennessee, you already know all these things.
Chuck, are we living in the moment that Keith realizes he grew up in a cult?
Well, I may be, because I watched it and was floored.
Well, so a lot of it, again, we're going to move on to basketball in just a second. A lot of it, they're just demonstrating things that happen in churches. They were like, oh,
Right.
all the people are marrying each other. It's like, well, yeah, you ever been to a church? Like all the kids are all dressed up, wearing all white and singing Christmas songs. Like, yeah, it happens at churches. That's what churches do. That part has not crossed into like the nefarious strangeness. I need you to cut to the nefarious strangeness and not do the table setting of like, these people believe Jesus came back from the dead.
How dare
Like,
they?
well, yeah, that's like 30% of the world. Like, well, let's move to the weirder things. Anyway, let's move to a weirder part of this show. Maybe it will be weirder. I don't know. After our breakfast, we move on to our breakfast in bed apologies. This is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong on a previous episode. Does anyone have anything they need to apologize for? John, what's your apology this week?
Where to begin? We are in a post Waffle House over under world where I now have to look and reckon with the decisions that I made when deciding which teams would be good and which teams would be bad.
Yeah.
But and it's looking pretty bleak already, but I have to say I've had kind of a revelatory moment with regards to the Hornets one, where I realized just how wrong I was looking at everything that was happening with the Hornets and now I need to like internalize and think about how I, as a Grizzlies fan, look at my team and realize that I kind of need to get a little more granular or at least more thoughtful in my approach to looking at other teams. Because as Grizzlies fans, Keith can espouse the same type belief that we had, where all the moves to outsiders could seem kind of strange and bizarre, but we understood that like moving guys like Jonas Valanciunas, that was actually opening up and changing the whole identity of the team. I was looking at the Hornets in a way where I didn't really realize that everything they were doing was to kind of make LaMelo take greater purchase and to let them play a different style and to let them be a different kind of team. I got so caught up in, is player A better than player B and stuff like that. I didn't realize I had become everything that I hate about people who look at the Grizzlies.
John, I thought you were going to come here and apologize to Ish Smith.
Yeah.
I feel like you specifically cited Ish Smith as a reason why you weren't big on this team. Ish Smith literally won a basketball game the other day.
I mean,
LaMelo couldn't even get back in the game because Ish Smith was cooking.
I got caught up on like what the pieces were as opposed to how the pieces fit. So it's been kind of a big. It's been to use terms Keith can understand. The veil has been lifted, and I'm walking into the kingdom, baby.
I want to remind everyone on this podcast and all the listeners at home that I called Ish Smith the Hornet's secret weapon mere episodes ago because I watched 5 minutes of him against the Heat in the preseason.
You nailed it.
It's just very clear that what the Hornets have done in the offseason has like created space and a better identity.
Not only for LaMelo, but Miles Bridges is like,
oh, dude.
NBA player of the week.
Yeah, and we should have seen that coming.
NBA player of the work week. It was only 5 days. It's not a full week.
It's 3 games.
Yeah,
Ja took that away from him. But yeah, like Miles Bridges balled out at the end of last year. We probably should have. Or let me just say, not we. I should have seen more of this coming, but it's become very like. It's just like looking at this. I'm kind of like, yeah, I guess I need to be a little more thoughtful when I look at what teams do and not think everyone is David Stewie Griffin and just slamming pieces together. And like, yeah, there is a thought process here. Like, I need to look at like they're giving opportunities to players who haven't gotten as much opportunity because of guys being in their way and the like. So
I mean, also it's just LaMelo is playing unbelievably well.
unreal.
So they lose this game. They lose this game in overtime to the Celtics on Monday night.
We're also awesome.
Right before we start recording. And, they almost got to 4-0. But so much of it is Miles Bridges doing insane things. Gordon Hayward's playing well. But, like, LaMelo's hitting half of his three-pointers.
Yeah.
Kelly Oubre is still a mystery. Is he good? Is he bad? I have no idea.
He's beautiful. But I might date him.
They're doing some stuff, and they're so fun. But yeah, I still wish I feel like you should apologize to Ish specifically, John. But it's okay. It's okay.
I'm apologizing to the entire organization.
I will apologize. A couple of things. Actually, Chuck, I got a lot of business to take care of in my apology. Let's go and do yours. What's your apology? I'm worried I'm gonna get too carried away before we do.
Last week we talked about corned beef and brisket. We didn't know the difference. I'm here to tell you today.
Corned beef and pastrami.
That's it. Sorry. Corned beef and pastrami. Right. Corned beef is brisket. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
It's pickled brisket, preserved.
It's pickled.
Pastrami. Basically, pastrami is beef belly. It's that fatty good. That juicy juice.
Isn't it the piece of meat starts with like a D? It's like the
it's
called like the doink or something. What's it called?
It's the dort. It's called the dort.
I think dort's close, but not quite.
Odontal?
What is it called? Adonis? Adonal foil?
The derriere. Regardless, it is a fantastic way of eating beef. And if you can, and now since I'm not dating a vegan, I'll be eating it all the time, baby. Yeah.
I'm ready to accept you back into my arms, Chuck.
Yes, you've been waiting.
My apology. I got a few. First of all, I feel like there's a lesson that we should all learn that hadn't really infiltrated our sport that much. But we talked about how it was coming, and now it seems like it's here. We were wrong. I was wrong criticizing the Suns so vociferously about the Landry Shamet extension, because it turns out that Landry Shamet extension was just a mirage.
Just nonsense.
It turns out 2 of those years were team options, non-guaranteed. I've never seen such a thing. Like, we were like, how do you give this guy a $42 million extension? Well, the answer is you don't. This is just fake money. And now we've entered the full NFL realm where I guess we can't even respond to contracts until we find out that, like, oh, there's 2 years of non-guaranteed money. Like, that's really odd. That's very abnormal in NBA contracts. So
I think there's a lot of tomfoolery going on, that all of this contract extension with Aiton Kerfluffle is all to hide Robert Sarver's sordid emails that are going to get him kicked out of the ownership group. That's what I'm looking for.
I don't understand. I mean, I know they got Donald Sterling. Although Shelley Sterling is still cool. It's fine, apparently. I don't understand what Robert Sarver did not say in that eulogy that went public like 3 months ago that was just horribly offensive. Like, it's just going to be more of that, right? I assume all the billionaires basically have this in their past. So I'm going to be real surprised if the league gets people motivated.
It's hard to make $1 billion without some form of slavery.
I'll be real surprised if the whole league unifies, all the owners, that is, unifies enough to kick out one of their own. But we'll see. The report isn't even out yet, so we don't know what's going on. We do know the Suns already issued a PR blast explaining how nothing was true in a way that made me believe everything was going to be true, and I didn't know what it was. Another apology. The Parish Curse, which was a frequent occurrence in years past, where
of this.
I would talk about some guy, and then, the pendulum would swing, the stats would regress. Well, I got so excited about the legend of Isaiah Joe in his wonderful preseason. Well, the regular season hasn't been as kind to him. He is currently on a miniature little Jacques watch. He has made no field goals this year. He's 0 for 6. And that brings me to a bit of business we all need to do. Got a couple of things here. First of all, there is the Jacques Watch, where we try to see if any NBA players can match Jacques Vaughn's NBA record for opening a season by missing his first 22 field goal attempts. Killian Hayes had a nice little go, but he shut it down. He missed his first 9 shots of the season. But right now, guys, this second, we have a very exciting Jacques Watch update. We have someone's hit double figures, baby. We got double digits. Aaron Neesmith
Hey now.
from Vanderbilt University is
Anchor down.
0 for 10 on the season, 45% of the way there to matching Jacques Vaughn's 0 for 22. We are all cheering for you, Aaron. I know you haven't scored a point this year. I know the Celtics took you in this same year. The Celtics took you using a draft pick you got from the Grizzlies. And in that same draft, you sent Desmond Bane to the Grizzlies.
Hey now.
And Desmond Bane's averaging 19 points per game, and Aaron Neesmith is averaging 0 points per game.
None.
Just a fun fact on the side. But we here at Fastbreak Breakfast are pulling for you as you chase history, going after Jacques Vaughn. I guess
Let's be clear, we are decidedly not pulling for you.
that's another way to interpret it.
We're pulling against you.
We're literally hoping you continue to miss shots. If that wasn't clear to
We
listeners.
hope you fail.
Other people who have done a little bit in the Jacques Watch, we got Isaiah Joe at 0 for 6, Cam Thomas 0 for 5, Jared Butler 0 for 5. Also Ty Jerome. We had a lot of hope for a lot of Thunder players. All the Thunder players have basically made shots, but Ty Jerome still hanging out 0 for 5. Not a lot of high usage guys still left in the Jacques Watch, but anytime you get double digits, I get pretty excited. Also, so that took care of that business with the Jacques Watch. Also, we have the I Need a Hero, Tyler Hero scoring points per game watch. Chuck, if Chuck and I have bet for the season that Tyler Hero will average, Chuck has taken over 18 points per game. I have taken under 18 points per game. It got off to a very, very hot start. Very scary there. Tyler Hero, after 2 games, Chuck, what was it? Was it 28 and a half?
28 and a half points. After 3 games, he's at 23.
So he scored 70 points.
70 points in
70
3 games.
points on the season. Let's say if he plays 80 games, he's got to score 1440. So let's say he needs to score over the next 77 games. He needs to average literally 18 points per game. So it's still, he now has a leeway, only has to average 17.8 points for the rest of the season.
I'm excited for this to result in Chuck wishing injury on players in the Heat starting lineup so that Tyler Hero plays.
That's
more
right.
minutes.
That's right.
He's getting starter minutes. He looks great against second unit defenses, and he has the confidence of a guy who doesn't know he might be traded yet. Because that's what happened to him last year. He looked great after the trade deadline. Him and Duncan.
He is the cow awaiting slaughter, not understanding why he's getting all this good food.
I think he's.
They're like, "Hey, buddy, go put
Try
some
the
stats.
veal.
Why don't you? Why don't you go keep shooting? Why don't you go get some more numbers? You just do your thing."
I think if Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero can both be stars in their roles, then we might get Brad Beal.
I don't know. I kind of like the vibes of the Wizards.
The Wizards are fun.
Not counting tonight. Kyle Kuzma's going to lead the league in rebounds for some reason. You know how it happens. Kyle Kuzma gets every rebound. He's averaging so many rebounds. Anyway, those were our apologies and also our updates with the Jacques Watch and the I Need a Hero watch. Before we get to our steak and eggs best things, we have to give you a word from our sponsor. That's right. The Grizzlies would like you to know that Fast Break Breakfast podcast. Wait, that's us. We're going to be hosting the first Nashville Grizzlies watch party of the season. It is this Saturday night, Halloween weekend, October 30th at Nobles Beer Hall. We're going to be watching the Grizzlies take on Tyler Hero and the Heat, Chuck's Miami Heat. This Saturday, we're going to have drink specials. It's a half off 34-ounce draft beer.
Oh,
goodness.
I'm going to be so confused.
You're going to be so calf-tanned.
Not because of the beers, but because of your emotions.
Yes, my
with
emotions.
the
And
heat.
the beers.
The Grizzlies will be giving away lots of prizes. If you want Jonas Valanciunas gear, I have some of that to give away. We'll also have current players, not to let you know. We'll also have John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. stuff, and the current Grizz next gen players. But we'll be hanging out there. Nobles Beer Hall in East Nashville, 7 p.m. on Saturday, October 30th. Also, from Grind City Media, Mike Wallace and CJ Hurt will be there. So if you need any more information, check out at Grizz Nashville on Twitter or Grizzlies Nashville on Facebook. All right. Steak and eggs. Best thing. What's the best thing you saw in the last week? Chuck, what's your steak and eggs?
So Los Angeles is such a beautiful place with wonderful stories being told, abound, stories of heartbreak, stories of effort, lack thereof, gunfights on the sidelines, pistols being waved, handheld pistols, finger guns shooting,
Finger guns ablazing.
We got pushing between two men who probably should both be playing center, but only one is. It's an amazing time to watch the Los Angeles Lakers. If you are a fan of any other team other than the Los Angeles Lakers, yes, they beat the Grizzlies last night.
How dare you?
But
it's so fresh, man.
They started 0-2. They looked like milk toast. And
a lot to laugh at. There's a lot to laugh at.
Yeah. And finally, we got ourselves.
What's the finger gun thing?
So Rajon Rondo was on the sidelines, and a fan was chirping at him, maybe, and Rondo pointed his fingers in a gun shape at the fan, and the fan got ejected. It was incredible.
It wasn't
maybe it was just giving the signal to the security guy, be like, "Get that guy out of here."
Bye.
Yeah.
But apparently it worked because he immediately got kicked out. I don't know what was said, but
what you didn't see, Chuck, was. Before that happened, Rajon Rondo almost like imperceivably spit on that fan from about 42 feet away, gleated onto that fan.
You can't say that. It's not true, John. We can't. I mean, the man has a history, but I don't know.
So anyway, it's fun. I know there's a lot of pressure there in Lakerland. There's a lot of moving parts and geriatric players, people who are passing Moses Malone on the all-time scoring list, who are the 8th best player on the team.
Melo's about to catch Shaq. What is happening?
Shaq. So it's an amazing time if you enjoyed Schadenfreude and you are me.
I'm still too hurt that they beat my Grizzlies because there were numerous comical moments in that game where the Lakers had guys who would not get back on defense. They seemed too tired to run back on defense. And then, but then the Lakers would get the defensive rebound and they would throw it ahead to the guy who was cherry picking. Like Anthony Davis had not run back from the previous play, but when they tried to throw it to him, it would get intercepted. And then the Grizzlies would come down and break a shot. And then this time it was just like LeBron was too tired to run back down the court. He was standing on it. They throw it. It was like, it seemed like a team that had no ability to run with the Grizzlies, but then it's very bad that, the Grizzlies couldn't score because the Lakers, they are good at defense. Like they can shut people down. And
we also decided to kind of go big against them and play a lot of Tillmania running wild, which I kind of disagreed with.
It was a lot of Zaire Williams, like, hey, go Carmelo Anthony, Tillman, go LeBron. But I mean, it's too early to try to put a stake in the Lakers because they're going to rear back. They're going to Michael
It's
Myers.
a long season.
You got to take your opportunities to laugh at these men.
They are hilarious events.
Yeah.
I mean, objectively, LeBron just decided not to come back on defense against the Suns too.
Query. Who wins if Dwight and AD had scrapped?
Ooh.
Oh, Dwight Howard.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like Dwight's lost so many steps. But you're right. AD does just fall down 17
Who can
times
AD
a game.
beat up in the NBA?
Yeah.
He is paper mache.
I don't think I'd take AD in a fight over hardly anybody.
Dwight Howard is still built like RoboCop.
He's yoked, bro.
Oh yeah. I don't think that would be much of a challenge.
Stupid question. You guys are right.
John, what's your best thing?
So for me, I need some help from you here, Keith, because I may have created this in my mind. But I think that the new officiating is working on James Harden specifically. And I'm wondering if James Harden has been reverse Jordan rules. And if that is the case, then that is the greatest gift we've been given. I have no statistics to back me up. I've watched some Nets games, and I'm like, that would have been a foul every single time last year.
So Steve Nash agrees with you.
Woo!
He has said the officials are particularly punishing James Harden with the new rules. They're saying they don't want to be the referees to miss the calls that shouldn't be calls anymore, and thus he's being punished. I don't really buy it. Statistically, free throws are way down across the NBA. And that might be a change. As far as like, is it specifically James Harden? I want to say I've watched 1.5 of their games, so I haven't seen that much. But in those 1.5 games I saw of James Harden, he just looked slow. He looked disinterested in the burst. He looked like LeBron James, guys who didn't seem to have a burst to get to the rim anymore. And it was all LeBron's making his 3-pointers. James Harden is, I don't believe, making his 3-pointers. He's just taking a lot of tough step back. So I agree with you that it seems like this officiating change has been welcomed. It also feels somehow, I don't know if it's related. Maybe it is obviously related, that they do seem to be letting the players play more. It seems like there's a little more physicality going on.
We'll have to see, as the league gets into more into its doldrums, if the refs will remain vigilant. But right now, I've been pretty pleased with it. I mean, the end of games are still very insufferable, but the flow of the games otherwise has seemed better to me in the small sample size.
Well, also the flow of the games, end of games this could honestly be a best thing of mine. If you're not aware, I think one reason that a lot of listeners out there, you're probably thinking that the games are more watchable and flowing better. That getting rid of the review for out of bounds has been amazing. Specifically, I mean, to our little world of watching the Grizzlies-Lakers game, there were 2 actual challenges that slowed down the final 2 minutes of the Grizzlies game. But if this had been last year, there would have been at least 3 other reviews of just simple out-of-bounds calls where they called out of bounds one way. The TV broadcast showed one review and was like, that's a close call. And then they moved on.
Yes.
And no one cares. No one cares. Like, we didn't read it 20 times. That makes the games just so incredibly
so much better.
They
need to just have J.K. Simmons animation come up and be like, what did we learn today? Nothing.
Exactly.
Move on. Just move on every time.
I'll do my official best thing. It's slightly tainted with the Timberwolves losing to the Pelicans on Monday night. But I was going to say, I feel like I see a spark among a few of the teams that have struggled recently. And when I say recently, I mean over the last decade. I feel like the Timberwolves are playing with spark. I feel like the Kings are playing with spark. They don't have a lot to show for it yet. And maybe it's all in my head. Maybe it's literally
the Davion Mitchell storyline right now. He had 22 points the other night.
I mean, Davion Mitchell looks like the Kings are losing to teams better than them, but they're playing them tough. Harrison Barnes is going for the MVP, I guess.
34.
Although I saw some stat that was like, I mean, again, I'm not one to criticize arbitrary stats because I literally love them.
Jock watch.
But there was a stat that was something close to Harrison Barnes is the first player on opening night to have 35 points, no fouls, and no turnovers. And I was like, okay, but just so we're clear, no fouls, no turnovers is not good.
Right.
Like no turnovers can be good.
That's like the guy who plays, he used to play like college or semi-pro ball, rolling up to the gym, not trying at all on defense, just scorching the other team.
You know what? If you played 38 minutes, you probably needed to foul someone at some point. Like to really, if you're putting forth full effort, you might hit someone.
Often our iShop decisions on who wins is guided by the foul.
Yeah, maybe try. You got no fouls. Well, maybe try harder. Have you considered trying harder? Maybe running into a guy? I don't know. But I feel like the Kings have looked sharp. If it is like the Halliburton, Davion Mitchell minutes I've seen, they seem tough. And I feel like they're going to have a lot of success this year, at least relative to their 15 years of missing the playoffs.
May I?
Yeah, what is it?
Nobody healed.
What about it?
lessen Buddy Hield's minutes. Rising tide.
That's been one of your themes. You were right on about.
I've
Jonas
already outed
Valanciunas.
myself as a not thoughtful NBA watcher, but just get rid of players who make your team worse. Just play them less. Play the guys who are team basketball players.
Yeah,
it kind of
all up.
works.
I will say another team that has struggled recently that is coming all together. I'll do a little double helping of a best thing is the Chicago Bulls, baby.
Oh, Bulls are back, baby.
We were making. I like to poke fun.
Pistons twice. Pistons twice.
But Pistons twice, and then Pistons twice, and then I believe the Pelicans, and then but then they pull out
beat the Raptors.
A tough game against the Raptors. DeMar DeRozan returning to Toronto, and a 4-0's 4-0, and they're continuing. It is.
I'm ready to change. 4-0's 4-0 unless you play the Pistons twice, and then it's 2-0.
I don't know. Pistons are so bad. But I'm happy for the Bulls. Like they're playing offense and defense both look really good. With an obvious caveat, their opponents have not been the strongest yet.
I think the NBA is like a much better place when the Bulls are meaningful. I don't really know why. I just like it. I think it's just they have a an energetic fan base. I think when, some version of the Knicks or Bulls, and we might get them both now being good, you just have that, fiery bong fan base that we're all crazy about.
I also think like Zach LaVine, he clearly elevated his game last season and became like legit good. No longer like, kind of a gunner in a bad situation. No, he became really good. And I'm still seeing that this year where like, he's incredible. Like he's so good. It's kind of wild, like how good he's gotten. I'm curious how like personally, I don't love ranking players, but it's still is it like him or Brad Beal? I used to say that's ridiculous. It's Brad Beal. Now I'm like, it's pretty awesome.
I still feel like still feel like Beal is a lot better than him, but I understand it's at least a conversation.
Yeah, it's definitely a conversation. Those were our best things. Let's move to the opposite of that. The cream of wheat. Worst thing. What's the worst thing you saw? John, what's your worst thing?
So I feel like we're not going to talk about Ben Simmons in any meaningful way other than this little this vacation he's on has kind of shown a light on just how bad the Sixers are at end of games and how it's not just a Ben Simmons problem. The way they're set up, it's just you can't expect a guy with Embiid's skill set to be the guy to get the ball at the end of games. Really, that's just not the way the NBA works anymore. And like, it's weird. I watch the Sixers games, and at the end of the games, in meaningful moments, I'm like, God, I wish Furkan Korkmaz had the ball right now. That's just not a good setup for success in close games.
Is he their best passer?
Right now, I would say so.
I
would say it's not really close.
There are a couple teams who've just like eschewed passing. They're like, you know what? Nah,
yes,
we're good.
And I think Daryl Morey is as good as they come. So there must be something to that.
Like the Pelicans. Yeah. Pelicans, it's like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Is he your best? Zion when he comes back.
And it's funny because the Blazers are a little bit that way too. And McCollum's the guy they're talking about adding to this Sixers maelstrom. But like, it is hard to watch. Like the Sixers strategy just needs to be to destroy their opponent and never let it get close. Because at the end of games, it is like clown shoes out there. Cue the Any Bill theme. It is torturous.
Well, I missed the end of the game against the Nets. I was watching that game, and then I assumed they were winning. I assumed that they had to take care of it, and then I saw they lost, and I was like,
if the Sixers let people hang around, it's a nightmare. And I can kind of see why fans got so mad at Ben Simmons all the time, because you feel like you have to pin that level of foolishness on something, but it's not him. They're gonna have to do something. They're gonna have to find someone because it's bad.
Oh, are you? I believe right now, if I'm hearing you, you are challenging Philadelphia fans to find a new scapegoat to destroy.
Yes, I am.
Seek out another human being to destroy his psyche. That is your challenge right now.
There's a lot to love in Philly, but as the roster is put together right now, it feels bad at end of games, and it was
they're going to turn on Seth Curry. They're going to turn on Tybal.
I mean, jeez.
I thought they were going to turn on Tobias Harris, but like he's like beloved again. Tobias Harris seems like one of the nicest humans in the world.
He's certainly
such a good dude.
His social media is like the sweetest thing in the face of all this.
It's the most wholesome thing ever.
But Tobias Harris sucks at end of games.
Not great.
Doesn't want it. Doesn't want anything to do with it.
He had some rough playoff moments.
He's a good shooter, etc. But like they need some creativity somewhere.
Speaking of 76ers, I'll do my worst thing. I said I don't care much for rankings. I don't try to do it because it's just they're guys in tiers. It's hard. I also said I wasn't going to care that much about the NBA top 75 team because who am I to say? Who am I to say? I have my specific opinions. If you wanted me to rank the best 20 Grizzlies players of the last 15 years, I feel like I'm an expert. But beyond that, no, I couldn't rank anyone. So I was like, I'm not going to care at all. But when you tell me the NBA top 75 players list has 76 players when it's not even the 75th anniversary.
Tomfoolery.
That is some Democrats nonsense.
I'm so crestfallen about them keeping the top 50 and not touching it that I wasn't even going to talk about.
So I don't think it was on purpose.
I'm actually deeply hurt.
It wasn't on purpose, right? They just had people vote, and the way people voted, they all looked at the 50 list and they included everyone. There are people who are historians who I listen to and I enjoy their opinion on who they feel were wrongfully omitted, who should not have made the list, who should be considered. But not even being able to pare it down to 75 is just ridiculousness.
Insane.
It's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
My favorite part of it all was Klay Thompson getting a 77 jersey.
That's pretty funny.
From Steph.
So really there's 77 because that has to be recognized as official.
That has to. And everyone was saying that's what AD and Dwight were fighting over.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think Klay should change his number to 77 permanently.
Go full Doncic. I love
it. Just do it.
Well, I was thinking Vlad Redmonovich.
Oh, that's
what I'm talking about.
It's a 77. I'm thinking about
Omer Yurtseven.
Howard. I just realized 7's in his name and his name.
Yes. Isn't it amazing?
That's incredible. Chuck, what's your worst thing?
My worst thing. How am I supposed to pick a worst? Oh yeah, that's definitely the worst. Well, how am I supposed to pick a worst? It's the beginning of the season. There's so much hope. There's so much future joy to be had from games and overtimes. And my Heat, they lost in an overtime game against the Indiana Pacers. Shout out Chris Duarte, who's a Dominican superstar. Shout out Platanos in queso frito and all that stuff. That's my Dominican accent.
Shout out Dominican stuff.
Shout out bachata music. Shout
out
Romeo.
Have you ever seen
Romeo Santos?
Chuck do the dance where you rub your belly and stick your hand up?
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. I'm with it.
I'm with it. But yeah, the games are looking good. Everybody's having fun, and I'm
it's so great.
There's no bad stuff.
Are Ja Morant's leading the NBA in scoring?
If the Heat were 0-3, what do you think Chuck's feelings would be right now?
I don't know. I like this. This is he's embracing the excitement, the optimism of the new year. I mean, we have to highlight. We're required to highlight. Bad teams start good every year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, the Rockets, I think, were 9-8 at one point. The Cavaliers had a winning record early in the year.
I could look at the Heat schedule and be very upset and could be like, that's the worst because
we don't do that here. We lauded the Bulls.
When do you get to play the Pistons and those people?
I don't know. We got
being in the Central Division seems incredible,
right?
Yeah, it really does. It really.
Although I mean, the Atlantic, I guess the Atlantic's kind of tough, right? You got the Hornets look fun.
Everybody's good.
I mean, when you got Terrence Ross and Cole Anthony going insane on you.
Can we talk about the Magic?
I want to.
The Knicks game?
Terrence
Ross had no points through the first 3 quarters and then scored 22 points in the fourth.
Lost his mind. God, the Heat play Brooklyn, Charlotte, Memphis, Dallas, Boston, Utah now.
Told you.
Denver, Los Angeles. Oh, dear God.
Not fair. Cole Anthony somehow became, I don't know, Hubert Davis. He became
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
He got 17 rebounds.
Was him, yeah.
Insane. I'm so glad. I was super worried about the Magic after that Knicks game. Then I was like, oh, well, they play the Heat tomorrow. We'll be
Also,
okay.
how do they do that?
Yeah.
This is a Magic team that I'm like, I'm picking up some good vibes. I think it'd be kind of fun. And then
The Wagner boys?
And then they got the Wagner brothers on the same team. You got Robin Lopez on his Disney Fast Pass hanging out there. But then in the first two games, they looked like they were not prepared to play professional basketball. Like they were one of the worst teams I'd ever seen. And weirdly, I watched them. Like I kept watching them. But then somehow I didn't see this Knicks fourth quarter. I watched the highlights because I didn't know it was going to happen. And Terrence Ross goes for 22. The Knicks somehow lose. The Knicks should be undefeated. They should be killing themselves for blowing that game. But
Bing bong.
Bing bong. Keep that same energy.
it's madness. Those were our worst things. And Chuck, thank you for just keeping it positive. You know, you don't
That's
need a
what I
worst
like to
thing.
do.
Sometimes you can do a double serving of your steak and eggs.
Double best.
Sometimes you have to keep it positive. I think
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
bad. Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's
There's a
move
syndrome
on
named after a
to
Swedish city.
Let's move on to our listener submitted question. We have a couple of listener submitted questions. The croissant questioner.
Jakob Potter asks, what are your way too early rookie rankings? I know this is mostly directed at Keith for his segment, but I think Chuck and I will have a few
Well, I think,
nominees.
yeah. Please give me your opinions. I think right now we have three guys. We have three
In
guys.
the words of
head and
Private
shoulders.
Elias in Platoon, Barnes.
Scotty.
So I
Boy.
got Scotty. This might be controversial. I got Scotty Barnes. Maybe I'm thinking third, maybe second. He looked real nice tonight when I saw him play. I think it's three guys. It's Evan Mobley. It's Chris Duarte, Chuck's
Baller.
Dominican love, and Scotty Barnes. I think those are the three. I don't know. Are there others that I'm omitting? Jalen Green had a massive one.
Do you hear the clip clop coming? Do you hear the giddy up coming? Josh Giddey's coming for you.
Josh Giddey
Mountain stats.
got like flagrant fouled by Joel Embiid, and the Sixers announcer said, "I hope that guy bleeds to death" or something. It was very controversial.
Essentially, couldn't care less.
He had 4 steals. Matisse Thybulle called him out on social media, saying that he was going to guard Giddey next game, but Giddey hasn't shown me enough. I've already seen him dropped and waived in several fantasy leagues.
I
So-
did that. I'm upset with myself.
So after a few games, no, Giddey's not on there. Jalen Suggs was 7 for 31, I believe, in his first 2 games combined for the aforementioned, usually woeful Magic. No, I think it's Evan Mobley has looked incredible. Chris Duarte is getting trusted to play like 38 minutes a game by Rick Carlisle.
Like Carlisle likes Duarte and is going to ride him probably even when TJ Warren comes back. Like you don't play a rookie 35 minutes a night unless he's already
He
got
looks
it going.
great.
He looks
Yeah.
like a very a smaller version of Malcolm Brogdon. Like he's slimmer, but he's got the same kind of game. Like it's
Brogdon looks
just-
awesome too.
and Brogdon looks amazing. It's like a diet. Brogdon.
Pacers losing some tough ones though. I'm of two minds about the Pacers. Yeah, it's like wow, they look pretty good, but they keep losing, and Carlisle's only playing 8 guys. So what's happening here?
So Scotty Barnes is up to 17 points per game on real nice field goal percentage, not hitting any 3-pointers, but we knew that he wasn't a shooter. He's getting, not really getting a lot of turnovers. Yeah, I'm sticking with Evan Mobley.
But Barnes is
he's
being
playing-
asked to do a lot. Like,
And
he's like kind of a centerpiece right now.
Yeah, he's getting like hockey assists too. Like I watched Celtics.
And Barnes is like the straw that stirs the drink. I mean, Mobley's been awesome. I still have Barnes, Duarte, Mobley.
That's fair.
God
It's
help
totally
me.
fair.
It might be because
think it's-
I bet on Duarte and Barnes to win rookie of the year.
I think it's those 3 guys with some honorable mentions to like a Davion Mitchell for doing some stuff. He's made
He
some
looked good
highlights.
against Golden State.
I mean, if Davion Mitchell keeps having 20-point games, he's going to get it because he already has this rep, and people are already showing clips of him shutting down Donovan Mitchell, et cetera. So I feel like he's going to storm into the rankings for sure. Probably should already be ranked,
Yeah. What's our next question?
Okay. Luke Hall asks, how many teams in the NBA would an all Aussie squad be better than? Here's an example starting 5. Point guard, you have Ben Simmons. Shooting guard, Patty Mills, who doesn't miss anymore. Small forward, Joe Ingles. Power forward, Matisse Thybulle. Center, Aaron Baines.
Well, first of all, good job, Patty Mills, being the first NBA player to make your first 10 3-pointers of a season.
Anti-Jacques.
And
Going 10 for 10. Luke, great patron, live in Australia.
Australian.
Luke, your team would be better than no squads.
No
None.
teams.
You're zero. Even if Ben Simmons were playing, maybe the
Pistons.
Right,
Pistons.
Could they beat the Thunder? Could a Patty Mills, Ben Simmons? Honestly, they could. I think actually
they could. Joe Ingles is nice.
Shea
Ingles,
hangs
Tybalt,
48 on this squad.
I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that Shea so far this year.
Oh,
Why am
he
I
had
watching all the bad teams? There's
last
no way to
night.
know.
Shea bounced back. He had a big game last night.
I think how many? Yeah,
I'm going 0.
I think that team loses to the Pistons, especially when Cunningham comes back. I think
they play him twice. I think they get 1.
Yeah, that's fair. If they're in the Central Division and you get to play them 6 or 7 times, yeah, they'll pick up a couple.
They'll get it.
All right, feeling. Let's do one more then.
Okay,
we were
all right, one more.
There. Feeling Minnesota asks, ignoring contracts, will Jordan Poole usurp Andre Wiggins as an NBA player this season?
Call him Andre Wiggins? I like that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I might have heard you wrong. No, let's go with Andre Wiggins. Is Jordan Poole flat out a better player than
essentially, or will he become one this year?
Or when will he become one? What do you guys think?
I don't know. Andrew Wiggins got like all defense team talk last year from some people.
That's that West Coast biased, left Coast biased.
I don't know. I feel like most of the contract and the what people want out of Wiggins is what makes this so lofty. But I will still say yes. Yes, he will. He will usurp him. I don't. Nah, I'm not going that far. I think this goes back to my I think winning Wiggins basketball players argument, where I can see Jordan Poole in my 2 games that I've watched. He seems like, wow, that's a guy you'd want on your team. And when I watch Andrew Wiggins, I'm like, get him off the court. I used to feel that way. I felt that way strongly when he was in Minnesota. I was like, that guy just doesn't get it. That guy can put up 25 points and he makes no impact on the game whatsoever. It does help to have Draymond Green directing him on defense. Right. And so him going to the Warriors looking really, really nice this year so far. Another team just horribly wrong about. Very, 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 very strong. And and Wiggins is just, he fills in on that team just fine. And I'm like, okay, if he's all right, beside other Hall of Famers, would most players fall in line? Possibly. But he shows he has a skill set and athleticism, size that is what you want in the NBA. So I have a hard time seeing Jordan Poole overtaking Wiggins, even if we throw out the contracts. Chuck, you have a strong opinion either way?
I like Jordan Poole. He's very fast. Watching him with the basketball is insane. And Wiggins, he's hit people with that inside out move twice this year.
He also tried to do the preseason things in the regular season, and he had some good moments where it all came together, but he also airballed more shots than you normally see in the first couple games.
And I think Wiggins has that curse of top pick curse where we have these expectations for him. Right. And really all he is going to be a very good role player. If he's that, then you're good. If Wiggins was drafted where Jordan Poole was drafted, and if Wiggins put up the rookie year Jordan Poole put up, people would be losing their minds for how good Andrew Wiggins is. Yeah. And he would get a huge payday on his next contract, I think. Anyway, those were the listener submitted questions, the croissant questionnaire. If your question was not answered, well, guess what? We have a bonus Zoom hangout this weekend. When do you guys want to do that? I can do it Sunday. I can do it Saturday. Halloween means nothing to me yet. My child is so young. So I'm getting a tattoo for 5 hours on my rib cage on Saturday. That's how I'm getting over my heartbreak. So a giant cobra. Let's say noon on Sunday. Works for me. That's fucking hilarious, though. Thank you, Chuck. You're welcome. We're doing our bonus Zoom hangout, the Millennial Brunch $500 croissant, where we answer a bunch of your questions this Sunday, Halloween at noon Central. Hopefully that gives you enough time with kids to not interfere with all the candy that needs to be acquired and consumed on that day. If you want to be a part of that Zoom, you got to sign up at patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. If you want to submit a question to be answered on the main show or on the Zoom, you got to join
Patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. If you want to play in the Pickle Pick'em, where we pick all the games against the spread Monday through Thursday with a monthly prize to each winner, totally free to play once you join the patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. Sign up, join the Slack chat, talk about basketball around the clock. Hook us up, patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. All right, gentlemen, it is now time for the awards segment of the program, the International Stackhouse of Pancakes. It
Too
is
many
given
to choose from.
to the worst performance in a box score. Gentlemen, with the first week of the season, lots of people wanted to be included. We had
Jordan
stiff
Poole, maybe.
competition. It was very difficult to narrow it down. There were guys who were throwing up 1 for 9s, 2 for 15s, and I'm like, I can't even include you. I exaggerate. 2 for 15s would have gotten in. But anyway, I've narrowed this down to a few honorable mentions. OG Anunoby, 3 for 17. Reggie Jackson, 4 for 19. Steph Curry, 5 for 21. Chris Duarte, 6 for 21. Those are our honorable mentions, but our 4 nominees, I can only narrow it down to 4.
Those guys didn't get in.
Nominees. Yeah, a 3 for 17 did not get you in this week.
Wow.
A 5 for 21. No, thank you. All right, here we go. As they occurred chronologically through the week, our big boy, Jonas Valanciunas, with the long hair slicked back on top, looking like a greaser in all the best ways. 3 for 19 in a loss against Joel Embiid and the Sixers. He was 3 for 19, 9 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 turnover, 4 personal fouls. That, if you remember, was on opening night, the real opening night. Also, Jason Tatum on his first game of the season, a historic 7 for 30. The most missed shots in several decades on opening night. 7 for 30, but he did have 20 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, a block, 3 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. Then Devontae Graham, Jonas's teammate, in a loss to the Timberwolves, was 2 for 14 for 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. In the same game, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Devontae Graham's and Jonas Valanciunas' teammate, was 6 for 24.
Whoa.
He almost didn't make it, but I can't leave a 6 for 24 out. I mean,
sure can't.
14 points, 14 rebounds, which is kind of cool from a guard. When you miss a lot of, this is me in church league. You miss a lot of shots, a lot of offensive rebounds available. Padding those stats. 14 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 5 turnovers, gross, and 1 personal foul. So Jonas Valanciunas, 3 for 19, 9 points, 12 boards. Jason Tatum, 7 for 30, but 20 points, 11 rebounds. Devontae Graham, 2 for 14, 11 points. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 6 for 24, 14 points, 14 boards, 5 turnovers. Can we cross them off? Like, are there ones easy to throw out?
I mean, I'm going with the only player that scored in single digits, and that's JoJo.
That's a boy, Jonas, 19 field goals from a center and getting 9 points.
I don't think I'm allowed. I'm not allowed to vote against Jonas with John Burr on this podcast.
If you have to ask me, I'm going to pass up a chance to give Jonas Valanciunas the first eye shot the year after I clamored for him to be traded all season. If you have to ask me who I'm voting for, then you don't know me. It's Jonas.
It's fair. He doesn't get the opportunity to win this much because he makes most of his shots.
And the man's obsessed with getting double doubles.
He went 20-20 tonight. Get the Pelicans their first win. I think I agree. I mean, the gaudy shooting numbers, the 6 for 24, the 7 for 30, but a 3 for 19 gets it done every day of the week on the International Stackhouse of Pancakes. Congratulations, Jonas Valanciunas, on winning this week's award. Now we have something very special on this program, inspired by both our negative fantasy league and
our negative outlooks on life.
And our negative outcomes of life.
Yes.
I think that's fair.
Negative relationship
and based on
statuses.
The International Stackhouse of Pancakes, we have a brand new season-long game. It's called What's it called?
The Lethal Lottery.
What's it? The Silver Stern thing?
We'll get into that.
It's called the Lethal Lottery. The way it's going to work, as best I understand it, John, Chuck, and I all year long are going to look at the nationally televised TNT game of the week. We're going to pick one, and we're going to try to pick the player who has the worst negative fantasy score. This is a proprietary formula I have created that rewards missing shots, having turnovers, and actually getting playing time. So I also think if that isn't clear enough, we have some very explicit rules that have been submitted by the dark games master himself, a mysterious figure known as the Professor, who has commanded that we play this game. I'll turn it over to the Professor right now.
Good. That's perfect, Keith.
So, all right, John, can you now take over
Sure.
and start maybe re-explain also?
Sure. And you did look at the rules, right, Chuck?
I heard it.
Yeah. Do you understand? I don't want to have to explain on the air.
Yeah. So we both pick a thing. If somebody picks Stern, then we could give that pick to
You can
whoever-
swap picks.
we could swap picks. Okay.
Yeah. And the person who picks the stick, Stern, can also pick a person. In this case, you'd want to pick someone who's not going to get the ice shop. But it has to be someone who's in the top 8, who played top 8.
And we're
Who's
picking
providing those numbers? Like
we're
how am I
picking.
supposed to know?
I'm not worried about the top 8 thing. I mean,
It'll be afterwards. It'll be afterwards. So you can't pick someone who's injured or someone who
we're picking between the Sixers, Knicks, or Nuggets, Jazz.
I thought it was Nuggets Jazz. I think it's only one on TNT, right?
No,
they're
there's
both
two.
they're both on TNT.
Oh, okay. Well, the first person who goes gets to pick the game.
Okay. All right. So, John, can you give us all right. So as you heard explained.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So as you heard explained, each of us are going to get to pick a ping pong ball from the Jock-O-Lantern, the Jock Von Lantern. Inside it, we have 2 silver balls for Adam Silver, that most slug-worthy of commissioners. And then there's 1 golden ball in there that also is donned with a David Stern mustache. So it'll be very clear who it is. If you get the silver ball, you're playing regular rules. You just pick who you think.
I'll be real. I think we need to invest some funds and get ourselves an actual lottery machine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're
How much could those cost?
Look, we got the Jock-O-Lantern for the Halloween.
We got the Jock-O-Lantern. Let's start it off. I mean, could Chuck be the first one to draw? Or?
Well, listen. So each week, the biggest loser from the week before will get to go, because it is a lottery after all. And seeing as Chuck got dumped, I have to say Chuck is starting at the bottom. So Chuck, I'm going to pick 4.
All right, here's Chuck's ball. We're doing the lottery drawing.
I can't look. None of these balls have been cooled or heated.
That's right.
Patrick Ewing has temperatures.
This is going to be validated by Ernst & Young later.
Chuck kicks it off.
Yeah,
with the Stern.
You got the Stern ball.
Well done, Chuck. So, Chuck, you need to pick. There's a lot of gamesmanship to this that we'll figure out as the year goes along. But, Chuck, you need to pick a player, and then you can swap with us. And you also get to pick the game. The games were Nuggets, Jazz, and it was Sixers. Okay. What?
Sixers. So we're picking between the national TV games, and this week they're on Tuesday on TNT.
So, Chuck, be Thursday,
first of all,
but yeah.
You can pick your game. It's either Sixers, Knicks, or Nuggets, Jazz.
So I'm going Nuggets Jazz.
Okay. So we'll all pick from the Nuggets Jazz game.
I'm going with a player that I am sure I am going to give to someone else for them to lose. That player will play because he's an Iron Man, and he will get them buckets. He will get them dimes. He will get them boards. I'm picking Nikola Jokic.
This is horrifying. This is horrifying, John, because he is the most negative fantasy-proof player ever.
Yeah. Ever. Good job by you, Chuck.
So
all right, Keith, since you invented iShop, I feel like you should get to go.
All right,
next. I'll go last. Invented this game with the help of Jesse Pitsley, Patrick Kirtner, Magnus Nilsson, and some naming rights go to Brandon Connor.
So right now, all I have to do, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna get a silver ball.
I'm still gonna draw it.
All right, we're drawing. There's only silver balls left.
For you, Keith.
So I know that Chuck has Jokic, who's one of the worst negative fantasy players ever. So I have to pick someone who is also terrible at negative fantasy. So I'm not picking a good player.
Or you could.
I'm picking a good player. I'm going to take Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert. Yeah, I don't think he's going to switch with you unless I get very, very good.
So I don't know what you're going to do, John. I'm just trying not to lose, right? The goal
Absolutely.
is not to lose.
This is the correct strategy. So we won't be in the Schadenfreude of business this week.
That's right. So you have so now with your silver ball, John, who are you going to take from Nuggets? Yaz.
I feel like you guys have gamed me pretty good, but I'm going to try to get into Chuck's heart. Yeah, because there's really but sometimes Rudy will have his offers. I have a chance. There's a chance.
Miss some free throws. He could foul out.
So I'm going to try to go with Mike Conley, who doesn't suck,
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. That puts me in a very difficult position.
It does not. If I understand the game, it does not.
Well, I have to get rid of Nikola. I got to get rid of Jokic.
You got to get rid of Jokic.
Right.
Who I get rid of him for is the question.
Right.
I mean,
I'm going with Mike Conley.
I mean, what you could have done, you could have just probably stuck me with a loss. Like that. Yeah. That's another gamesmanship we can get to down the line, I guess.
This game has layers.
I think that makes sense. So
I think we should just swap. I think like my previous relationship, swapping always went well.
We are swapping.
So that works. So Chuck, you will be cheering for Mike Conley to do poorly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. John, you're in the impossible position of hoping Jokic does poorly, and then I also get stuck with hoping that Gobert plays worse than Jokic.
Well played, Stern. Stern ball going first really makes it crazy.
The Stern ball makes it very much
nuts. I was so ready. I had Facundo Campazzo lined up. I had Royce O'Neal, the iShop guy.
And also, I'm going to try to get our Thursday guests to participate when they can with any leftover players when it's a Thursday game.
It'll be tough this week. We're going to let them try to get one off.
This week's Thursday guest has been Golliver. Maybe I'll send him a message to see if he wants to try to play along with an early pick in the week. And we will track these standings all year long. Very exciting game. I wish we weren't being tortured by this mysterious professor with such a lethal game, but I look forward to how it will play out. Anyway, gentlemen, the par fadeaway. Let's close this thing down with what things are we looking forward to in the coming week? Chuck, what's your par fadeaway?
Pickle, baby. We got Pickle on the Patreon. Everybody's playing. Everybody's having fun. Everybody's picking teams against the spread for glory. And we're going to continue.
And prizes.
And prizes. Also prizes. Unless you're a host on the show, then we don't get prizes. We just get bragging rights.
Oh, we get a prize. That prize is we don't have to send you one. So there.
Yes.
Can you do Chuck, can you just do the watch party instead?
My bad.
That's fine. Just
we get Pickle. My bad.
Yeah. Just
I was there for him.
You could just double down on the watch party. I think would work great.
All right. Well, we got the Fastbreak Breakfast Bowl coming up. We got that watch party at Noble's on the 30th.
It's going to be so good.
It's going to be good. I may be wearing both Heat colors and Grizzlies colors.
Under a caftan.
Under a caftan. We'll see. I have my caftan.
I think Mike Wallace has a Miami background, right?
Yeah.
Grind City Media. He was in Miami for a while. He covered
the Heat. I think he was on ESPN. He covered the Heat check or Heat.
Yeah, so I think he's not going to. You have a lot to talk about. That'll be a lot of fun. Yes, I too, man, very fired up about
all three hosts. All three hosts will be there this time.
Chris's watch party. I'll say, I'm looking forward to. We talked about it a little bit, but I want to know: will my referee brethren hold the line? So far, so good. One. So far, so good.
We need a segment.
Calling a lot of fouls. Like
this is our chance, Keith. You need some sort of like inside edition ref watch here for the rest of the year.
Oh, can you have too many segments? I say no.
Watching the detectives.
I say no. We'll call it internal affairs. The rat squad. Keith's referee rat squad. We'll sound it out. We'll workshop this later.
I'm looking forward to listeners making their own lethal lottos. All you got to do is get a couple of friends, start picking these iShop numbers, and then look check out Magnus's Twitter at SportsBallBot. He's been posting actual iShop rankings, which are negative fantasy rankings. He's been doing it on a weekly basis. It's a great follow, but just get a couple of your friends, make your own lethal lottery. All you need is some spray paint, ping pong balls, and a jack-o'-lantern. It's fun. Get into our malignant mindset.
And I also got to tell you guys to download the all access, all in one Grizzlies mobile app, now featuring Grind City Media news and notes on all things Grizzlies, NBA, and more. Get 3 experiences with one app, including a fresh Grizzlies look and feel, along with access to FedEx Forum events and those sweet Grind City Media podcasts. This new app has it all. Upgrade your experience and download the Grizzlies app today at the App Store and Google Play. Well, gentlemen, I believe we did it. A very exciting NBA season has kicked off. Hope to see many of you from the Middle Tennessee area at Nobles on Saturday night. If you want to support the show, again, patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. You can follow us on Twitter at Fastbreak Break. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing. Cool.
See you, boys.
See you guys.
Look at that.
What is that?
Burr's muted.
Chuck got me this insane wallet.
That is insane. This wow.
Is Nick Goulas, who ran wrestling in Tennessee for 50 years. Killed people.
Well, that's cool.
I found it at a yard sale with my ex-girlfriend.
I would have paid any amount of money for this. Chuck put it in my driveway.
Yeah.
Mailbox. He put you did put a record in my driveway. All right, see you guys.
All right, see you guys.
Night.